What's going on, guys? We're back once again, and we're going to be talking about another Spider-Man sequel idea, possible theory that may happen. Now, if you guys have played Spider-Man Miles Morales, obviously this is going to contain spoilers, so if you want to stay clear of that, go play the game or go look up some different cutscenes and be able to watch it. But either way, this is mainly going to go towards the second game of Spider-Man, PS4, PS5, whichever one you want to concur on. But there was a massive, not really massive spoiler, but there was a massive idea of what can happen within the second game. And this has to do with mainly with villains. And we got a little bit of a sneak peek at none other than Dr. Kirk Connors. Now, again, if you guys are Spider-Man fans, you guys should already know who Dr. Kirk Connors is. Dr. Kirk Connors is obviously a scientist that is in the lore of Spider-Man, who later becomes the Lizard, one of Spider-Man's enemies, and also a best friend to Spider-Man slash Peter Parker on different worlds, of course, Peter Parker and Spider-Man. But it does show Kirk Connors in this world, I'm guessing either working for or with Norman Osborn, working to try to cure Harry from his disease while he's in the tank, and he basically tells him to get him out, and he says that he doesn't know if he's ready, and he says to get him out. So we don't really know that that's really going to happen, but we do see where he does not have an arm in this scene. So I would personally like to see if we are possibly going to see the Lizard in the second game, or how he does become the Lizard, because obviously he's working in the lab that I'm guessing helped Norman create the spider that it did bite Miles in the very first game. So I'd personally like to see, are we going to be seeing something with the Lizard? Like maybe he's doing something else with insects or reptiles or amphibians or something, to where he gets, he does something and he's like, okay, well that worked on this, let me see if I can do this, and the next thing you know, he becomes the Lizard, like we saw in the comics and in the animated series. And then sort of like the same research where Norman gets his superhuman strength to become the Green Goblin. Like, honestly, I would really love to see, and now that they've shown Kirk Connors in this game, I personally would love to see him, Green Goblin, and Venom in the very second game. And the reason why, I know everybody's stating that, of course, with Venom, it was too early in the very first game, but now it kind of would make sense to have, of course, where if Harry does become Venom, that he later does get shown to give it, or somehow goes to Eddie Brock at another point in time. But I think that'd be a little too much. But I personally would love to see Venom, the Lizard, as well as Green Goblin within the second game. I think that'd be the highest villains, honestly. But at the same time, there is possibilities where they could do that, or they could postpone different villains. Like they could just postpone the Lizard at this point in time, but there is possibility for Kirk Connors to become the Lizard at some given point in time, because again, the Lizard, I think, is one of those very underrated characters, and I enjoyed anything that had to do with Lizard, whether it been in the comics or in the anime series, because I always found the Lizard, aka Kirk Connors, to be a very interesting character, family man, husband, father, as well as a brilliant scientist who later just wants to try to, do research to try to help people reattain their limbs, their arms, their legs, something, or a finger, to just be able to use that again instead of a prosthetic. And nowadays, back then they didn't have that, but now they do, and they can import that in here, and maybe he can, argue like, hey, this would be better, that maybe we can regrow limbs instead of just using a prosthetic or a cybernetic to replace an arm or a leg or something. And maybe that's what his cause is going to be, to try to do this, and later becomes a Lizard. So that's just a little bit of an idea here, guys. Honestly, I'd love to see it happen, but only time will tell what Sony and Insomniac Games are going to want to do. But there are other ideas I'm going to be throwing off you guys later on at some point this week or next week when this video does drop. But I figured I'd go ahead and talk to you guys about it for a few minutes. But either way, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Would you guys like to see this happen? Would you guys like to see the Lizard go into the next Spider-Man game? Would you guys like to see that? Would you guys like to see Green Goblin, of course? And among other villains, I'd like to see Now, lately, we did get 3 villains in Miles Morales. Obviously, it was a short game. We had 6 villains or more if you count, of course, Kingpin, Tombstone, Shocker as well for minor boss fights. But at the same time, if you want to consider like major boss fights, I think those would probably be the main 3 boss fights that I would like to see in Spider-Man 2. Honestly, that would probably be the best right now. You know, Green Goblin, Lizard, as well as Venom. So those are my top 3 right now, guys. If anything changes, I'll definitely make a video about it. But either way, let me know your thoughts are about this in the comments down below. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video and in the comment section below. See you later.